Brisk. The very name conjures awe, reverence, and images of Torah grandeur. Yeshivas Brisk Yerushalayim is known worldwide as a bastion of Torah, lumdus, unadulterated Torah hashkafa, and exacting standards of halacha. The glorious history of Yeshivas Brisk began in the celebrated Eim HaYeshivas, the great yeshiva of Volozhin, founded by Rav Chaim of Volozhin, the prime Talmud of the Vilna Gaon Zatzal. Rav Chaim Volozhiner's great-grandson, Rav Yosef Dov Halevi Soloveitchik, the Beis Halevi, eventually served as Rosh Yeshiva of Volozhin, where he inspired a generation to new levels of greatness in Torah. In 1879, the Beis Halevi accepted the Rabbanus in the Torah metropolis of Brisk. From a young age, the Beis Halevi's son, Rav Chaim, was renowned as a Torah genius and an Oved Hashem of the highest caliber. In 1873, Rav Chaim began serving as a Rosh Yeshiva in Volozhin, and his Talmidim there became Gedolei Torah and great Roshei HaYeshiva. His innovative method of analyzing a sugya revolutionized the Mahalach HaLimud in the Torah world ever since. To this day, Rav Chaim's Torah is considered the cornerstone of the analytical, brisker Derech HaLimud. It was in this home of greatness that the Brisker Rav was born into. Rav Yitzchak Zev, commonly known as Rav Velvel, was born in Volozhin in 1886. Even as a child, it was evident that he was destined for greatness. It was in Brisk that Rav Velvel began delivering shiurim for a small number of bachrim. Rav Eliezer Yehuda Finkel Zatzal, Rosh Yeshivas Mir, began sending some of his finest Talmidim to benefit from the Brisker Mahalach HaLimud and to bask in the Rav's esteemed presence. When World War II broke out, the Brisker Rav was in the vacation resort of Krenitz. Unable to return to Brisk, he traveled to Vilna, where many of the yeshivas had gathered. Tragically, the Rav and his family were not spared the horrors of the Churban, and the Rav lost his Rebbetzin and 3 youngest children in the war. The Rav, with his unshakable emunah and bitachon, forged ahead despite his terrible loss and the pain of a destroyed world. In 1941, the Brisker Rav escaped to Eretz Yisrael, settling in Yerushalayim. Once again, distinguished bachrim began coming to hear shiurim from the Brisker Rav in his home, which is where the yeshiva still is, until today, on Rehov Press. The Brisker Rav was recognized as the Gadol Hador, and he provided crucial guidance for Klal Yisrael during the turbulent time after the founding of the State of Israel. The Rav continued his family's Mesorah of Diktuk B'Halacha and being exacting on every mitzvah, Kala Kebachamura. His profound Yiras Shamayim was pure and awe-inspiring, and continues to be a source of inspiration for Erlich Yidden until this day. After the Petira of the Rav, his eldest son, Rav Yosef Dov Soloveitchik, also known as Rav Berel, took his father's yeshiva to a new level by opening the doors to many more Talmidim. Rav Berel led the yeshiva for over 20 years, and many of the most influential Roshei Yeshiva in America today are his Talmidim. It was a glorious period for Yeshivas Brisk, and the level of its influence reached new heights. In 1981, upon Rav Berel's Petira, he was succeeded by his son, Rav Avram Yeshua Shlita. Since then, the yeshiva has continued to grow by leaps and bounds. Thousands of Talmidim have learned under the Rosh Yeshiva Shlita, many of whom are Mabitzei Torah themselves today. Hachut HaMeshulash loy b'mehera yinotek. The Rosh Yeshiva Shlita carries the torch of this illustrious Mesorah. B'li ayin hara, hundreds upon hundreds of Talmidim have grown and developed within those hallowed walls of Rehov Press in Yerushalayim. The yeshiva continues to pulsate with the sounds of Torah. Baruch Hashem, our generation is one of Mevakshim, and it is the dream of so many Choshev Bachrim to learn in Brisk and to become a part of this special Malkum Torah. The yeshiva today consists of many hundreds of Bachrim learning Behasmada, as well as a kollel of hundreds of younger light. It would be impossible to describe the impact that Yeshivas Brisk has on the entire yeshiva system of Klal Yisrael today. And Be'ezras Hashem, with your help and support, this wellspring of Torah, Chesed, and Yiras Shamayim will flourish ad Bias Goyel Tzedek.